up a public hearing on the City of Benton Harbor CDBG action plan budget.
Good evening. I just want to give a little bit of background regarding this action plan and the figures therein. If you recall, I want to say last year or whenever my predecessor, Ms. Scott Sims, had to submit not only the action plans for the funds that we had that needed to be expended from 2014, 15, 16, but she submitted this plan in addition to that.
This plan,
yes,
right
so
here.
what
This is her plan.
So what this plan is, it's already been reviewed by HUD. HUD has seen this, but it's with the figures of the true allocation that we're gonna get for fiscal year 2019. So what I did was simply adjust numbers to reflect what our allocation is.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So the other funding has we expended,
We expended all that we needed to.
really? Was this amount included?
No,
Okay, this is new.
this is,
And this is not a plan that you put together?
no. This is something that was already put together that HUD had already seen.
And it lacks youth employment.
Now
This is something that can be revised?
If you don't mind, the purpose of the public hearing, Commissioner Adams, is this was submitted to HUD along with the other, as Ms. Jennings said, submitted and they looked at it. So they wanted to know what our plans were going forward. So Ms. Scott Sims put this together to be as a preliminary. This is the first shot at it, and whatever is decided by the commission will be what will have to be voted on and then subsequently have to be approved by HUD. So this is basically the starting point.
Okay.
So this is not a, etched in stone. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just something that it has to be the starting point for what we are going to submit going forward.
Okay, and I know that it's a process, just like you said, we
Yep.
have another public hearing
Correct.
to hold. And
Yep.
any questions that Chairman Seats or anybody else has, they can submit in writing, or
Correct.
he
Yes.
can get an
Yep.
update or discuss at our next, that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
And writing an email via email.
Okay, carry on.
I think that was,
That was
from my
pretty much
standpoint,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I
pretty
don't want
much
y'all
it.
to hold you here hostage all evening either.
Understand.
Commissioner Henderson, you have any questions, anything you'd like to address? I have a question. With the home rehabilitation program, what's the probability of us submitting a letter to HUD, or I don't know how that would work or what it actually looks like? I know that it would help the City of Benton Harbor's tax base. If we could help some lower income residents in the community come out of the housing development and into their own dwelling, if we could possibly stop a couple of homes from going to auction and do them, fix them up using youth bill to get back on the tax roll, working with with our local bank. Is that something
That is a possibility. You can do, I just had it. You can do first-time homebuyer assistance, and there are classes that are required for anyone who would receive them, and they have to qualify for it. You can also do exactly what you said. Again, these are all ideas.
Okay.
And we can look at that as I know we did that, I want to say in the late 90s.
Okay.
The mid to late 90s, there was a program that utilized community development block grant dollars, I believe, to do exactly what you just said. Took houses off of the foreclosure list, and then the city basically sold them,
Yeah.
did some remodeling if there was necessary, and then sold them to new homeowners Or it also, again, we did that too when we did the one for taking people who were living in them.
Right, right.
So, yeah, that's a possibility. Again, this is a public hearing to hear ideas, and then if we can put that together, at the next one, we'll have a conversation about it, and then as the final submittal, if that's what the wishes of the commission and the public are, then that's what we will submit, yep.
And my question, for code enforcement, 55,000, that's going up?
That's just one, no, it's actually gone down some. It's only 55,000, that's one.
40,
Mm-mm.
42 or something.
It was,
like that.
that's one person, is what that is, yeah.
Just reflecting back on the conversation we had when I found out that we were going to owe HUD some funding back.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation, I guess, that you, City Manager Watson, and the mayor had with, was that young lady's name Stephanie as well, with HUD? Or something, the one that has, our region.
Kathy.
Kathy.
Kathy's out
Okay,
there.
Kathy. And it was stated that, these funds were not supposed to be used for code enforcement.
What was said was there was a monitoring that we had done. And what the problem was that if we were doing code enforcement, and we had been doing code enforcement, HUD said, you're doing code enforcement, however, you're not giving an opportunity for residents to fix it. So that's when the home rehab and the minor home repair got reinvigorated, and that's where it allowed us to do it. So we couldn't just do code enforcement without remedy or offering a remedy for those who may have not been able to fix whatever was wrong. So a roof that may have been bad, furnace that may have been bad, stuff like that. We've done that recently.
Okay.
And that's why they're thinking there's 2 emergency repair loans are in here. So they were not going to let us continue to go down code enforcement's lane, if you will, without offering some kind of remedy for it if we were to enforce them.
Okay, now my question with the code enforcement is, all of those things that you just made mention of, they only address the enforcement of the homes that were done or on the list that needs to be inspected to see if in fact they qualify?
No.
No?
So
This is yearly for the city of Benton Harbor's code enforcement?
Correct. If we go out and we do code enforcement on just any house, if a person has not applied for an emergency loan, that does not preempt them from getting it. If they get and they qualify for it, then we can do that. We can then go, but it's not anybody that's on the list. This is for every resident in the city that falls in the low to moderate income levels.
So am I hearing that we're using this community block grant dollars to actually employ or create a job of code enforcement?
Correct.
Or, okay, so we, the city, does not pay anything out of the city's COFR
We
for
do.
that position?
We do, because there's the thing about code enforcement from community development, you have to follow the community development, you have to follow the census tract.
Specifics.
Specific areas. There are certain areas that we can do with code enforcement activities out of this dollar,
Okay.
these dollars.
Okay.
We could not go after businesses.
Okay.
So if business code
Right,
enforcement,
right,
the city has to pay for
Okay,
that.
okay,
This is for housing, low to moderate income housing,
okay.
and rental, which fall like Harbor Towers or any of the scattered site homes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
we do the housing commission as well?
We do,
If
because,
we have complaints?
well, not only if we have complaints, but every time there's a change in people in there, there's supposed to be a reinspection.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you move out and I move in, between that time, there should be an inspection
Is
done.
it happening?
It-
You said it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's the problem,
It
because
hasn't been happening.
they don't, a lot of times we don't know about it until someone comes in and starts applying for
And then-
a utility. And then we have to go back, and by that time, it's like, okay, now we have to go back and do it, a retrospect, instead of having them fix it before they actually move in.
So we have a wheel that doesn't need to be invented, but there's some other things that seem like what I'm hearing is need to be enforced
Mhm.
because of a lack of communication with the housing, Benton Harbor
Yeah,
Housing
and it's,
Commission and its
yeah,
city.
it's not just the housing commission, it's landlords in general.
Okay,
Because any landlord that rents to a low to moderate income person, via Section 8 or just because of their qualifications. They are supposed to let us know, once they leave, Miss Jones has left,
Okay.
I'm moving to the new tenant, there needs to be an inspection. That's part of the rental registration.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's part of the rental registration
That makes sense.
payment.
Okay. Does the housing commission pay a rental
Yes, ma'am.
fee? Okay.
Yes, they do.
Is it larger than what a single dwelling?
It's the same, it depends upon, for Harbor Towers is different
Okay.
than it is for the scattered site houses. The
Okay.
scattered site houses fall under the single family qualification.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to work on that because just like the grass,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that there's a parade first time coming down Broadway, and one of the scattered homes, grass is so high that, yeah, you
Mhm.
gotta do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, just like people hold us at a higher standard than they do, and, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
just saying. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, well. That's pretty much it, other than, well, I can take care of that
You got questions?
with Brownfield Authority Board, because I know some of those funds can be used for sidewalks and infrastructural
Mhm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's there, it needs to be used. It needs to be utilized
Yeah.
because it is just ridiculous.
I can give
It's
you a
citizens.
quick, just a quick,
Okay.
30-second, and we didn't have the income tax meeting on Tuesday. But, like with sidewalks,
Mhm.
because we talked about earmarking the monies from the income tax for sidewalks, sidewalks are about $15 million worth of sidewalk work that needs to be done in the city. Yeah,
We have to
across,
start somewhere though.
yeah, so you got that, and then the next one is the alleys.
Yeah.
You can use community development block grant dollars to do infrastructure work in and around low to moderate income housing or census tracts.
Okay.
So if you wanted to say, take money and put it toward, like these sidewalk repairs, and you did them around the housing developments, that's what this would have to be used for. Or if you wanted to do a road along, yeah.
Which is why
Yeah.
I was talking about the rehabilitation of the home.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, we can set something real nice for some little small family, you know, just
mm-hmm. Again, that's,
and put them back on the tax, home ownership.
yep, that is a permissible activity under.
We can make those two payments work together for the
Yep.
good of the residents.
Yep, because I think we still have right now monies left over for first-time home buyer assistance,
How much?
46.
46,000.
Really?
Yeah,
So can we put out, a flyer or something? Is it on the website as well?
we did a big push campaign for it
Okay.
when we were with the 1111 Superior and the other one, and we can just reinvigorate it and put it back out there. But yeah, there is first-time home buyer assistance available still through the city. So if a person's trying to move out of scattered site home or move out of the,
First home ownership?
yes ma'am, as long as you've never owned a home before, you can qualify if you meet the criteria.
Okay, so we need to get with, I think Miss Linda Allen was, made an announcement. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe we can get together and send out something to the residents, or just have it announced over the radio.
Yep, we
With
can
Miss
bring,
Bernard
yep.
and Miss Sharp, Miss Swanigan. Just a reminder to let them know that
Yep.
it still exists and it's available, and hopefully somebody will take interest in cleaning off their own yard. Okay, with that, I'll take the rest of that sidewalk issue to the Brownfield when we have a meeting. And I guess if there's no more questions out there in the.
He answered my question, you were asking something, so he answered it.
Okay, well, that's it, that's all.
You have to
Public
close.
hearing
There you go.
is closed.